What's up, YouTube? It's time for a review of the new Dave East EP, Paranoia, A True Story, out last Friday, August 18th. You know, last year, when the XXL freshmen were announced for 2016, I was kind of bummed about who was picked for that cover. Because even though I loved his music, I wasn't sure about Anderson .Paak being picked as a singer. I thought that was kind of a weird precedent to set. I thought giving Designer the cover was whack for literally one song. Not really a fan of Kodak Black. But I was really psyched to see one MC on there, and that was Dave East, who to me just seemed like a true blue, authentic New York MC, which if you've followed this channel at all or seen any of my hip-hop reviews, you know I'm going to be partial to. So following that cover, he signs to Def Jam, and this EP that we're going to be talking about is, I guess, his first major release for the label. And typically, an EP comes either before or between studio albums, so not a huge stretch to say that pretty soon here we're gonna get a proper Dave East studio album. I imagine that's in the near future. This is gonna be a really easy EP for me to break down, because when you cut out the interludes, which I'll say right now are fucking pointless, why are they here? Don't ask me. Anyway, cutting out those interludes and 7.5 minutes of skits, this cuts the album's runtime to 9 songs and a little over a half hour, which, I mean, Illmatic was 9 songs and a little bit over a half hour. I've already seen fans criticizing this project solely because of its brevity, and it's like, I just don't understand what hip-hop fans want, because so many modern hip-hop projects are so long and so bloated, and you constantly hear fans complaining about that. So it's like hip-hop artists can't win with the length of their projects. This is an EP, for God's sake. EPs can be fucking 15 minutes. Just break down the individual songs, and if you like them, great, and if you don't, okay. But can we at least discuss the music and not the length of the project? So on that note, following my own advice, diving into these first 3 proper tracks on this thing, Dave East pretty much goes right for straightforward, aggressive, gangster rap. All 3 of these first tracks here are no frills, no chicks singing, no adventurous arrangements or beat switches or anything like that. Just like I said, bars delivered with aggression and instrumentals that match that intensity. The opening title track, Paranoia, has a mean, menacing beat that does have a tense and slightly ominous air to it that fits with the theme of peeking through the blinds and being paranoid. Rapping-wise, though, what I'll say about this song is that it's a very good thing that it only lasts like 3 minutes and 2 verses, because East and his guest Jeezy basically follow one flow for the whole fucking song. It's really redundant. So this track doesn't have a lot of replay value for me, other than the fact that I just love the mood with which Dave East delivers his lines. He just has a certain focused anger where you take him seriously. And I think that's important for establishing this project early. And I will say, very cool and very appropriate when Jeezy references the classic Ghetto Boy song Mind Playing Tricks. It could not be a more seamless old school reference. But yeah, not a crazy exciting start for the EP though. This song does bump. Then we get the song The Hated, which has more grimy, bass-heavy production. Dave East approaches this one from a sharp storytelling angle, and it just could not be more fitting to have Nas hyping him up on here, because the way that Dave East approaches this narrative really is reminiscent of like Stillmatic era Nas. But at the same time, how are we gonna get no verse from Nas? What the fuck? Granted, Nas wouldn't really fit on this song. It really does have an insular beginning, middle, and end. But having him listed on the track list as a credited feature is just some unnecessarily tantalizing bullshit. Especially when on the next song, we get a really long verse from Wiz Khalifa where he's rhyming fan with Millie Ann. Which that next track, Phone Jumpin', while I can appreciate the nod to an old Busta Rhymes song, I just find it really forgettable. There's not much of a hook here at all, which, to be fair, none of these first 3 tracks are strong in that department. I think that Wiz doesn't really fit on this aggressive of a beat. He's better on beats that are dreamier and cloudier and hazier. So I really don't like him as a feature. There's just nothing to see here. Thankfully, with the 4th proper track here, we get a big mood shift, which we're due for in the form of the song Perfect with Chris Brown, which is a blatant attempt at a strip club song. But since A, Dave East avoids that cliched R&B outsourced hook for the rest of the project, and B, his hooks so far have been fucking boring, the Chris Brown feature doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I think it actually rounds out this EP pretty nicely. It is very telling that, according to interviews, this song already existed as a Chris Brown song in the studio, and then Dave East came, added bars, and then kind of made it his own. But the thing is, his rapping on here is genuinely some of his best rapping on this whole project. I love the way he puts his rhymes together here and describes these flings, and I think the song succeeds at being sexy and dripping with lust, and surprisingly, to probably your surprise and my surprise, this is one of my favorite songs on the whole track list. Then coming off Perfect, we've got the song Found a Way, your typical trap ballad, as I like to call them. You know, an artist like YFN Lucci is one of the first that comes to mind for me when I think of that slowed down, piano-driven trap approach. Very typical rags to riches, come up lyrics on this one, but it's pleasant and agreeable, if not a little run-of-the-mill. But then we've got maybe the coolest track on here, Maneuver with French Montana. Amazing instrumental from Harry Fraud on this one. I love the jazzy saxophone loop and the stop-start rhythms. We finally get a simple but effective hook on this fucking project. And personally, I think that Dave East bodies French Montana in terms of bars, but in general, their voices are a great complement to each other and they've got a lot of chemistry. This song is the sound that I was hoping for this entire EP. I fucking love this song. Also cool how Dave East slips in a little reference to Nas's The World Is Yours with that infamous Dead Presidents line. In general, this EP has a bunch of those little nods to the old school. Like on Wanna Be Me, he references Biggie's classic song, Kick in the Door, that famous line, more rides than great adventure. So it's cool to have those respects paid for sure. As for the last three tracks, we get a little dip in quality with the song My Dirty Little Secret, which I find to be, again, missing a memorable hook and just relying too much on verses to carry it through. No reason to come back to this one really. But the EP ends on a high note with the closing pair of tracks, Wanna Be Me and Have You Ever. Wanna Be Me, first off, has a sick instrumental courtesy of JoJo Beats. It's got this swelling melody that gives it a contemplative, almost eerie vibe. There's some light touches of piano here and there, and just a great sounding drum kit, especially the snare. I really like what Dave East is talking about in the lyrics too, just wanting to be himself and just be left alone, and kind of he's starting to look around at his responsibilities in the music industry as they get greater and greater, and he sees them as obstructing his personal life. And that's a very common theme as MCs get bigger and there's less room to hide, there's less room to just get away and just live a normal fucking life, which ironically this is the life that you chose for yourself, but still, as once you get this goal that you've been working to attain, you realize that now you have to make other sacrifices in your life. And then Have You Ever, what a killer track. Love how he goes with the production on this one that eases off that intensity of the rest of the EP and goes for something a little more drama-filled, a little more emotional. Some great background vocals courtesy of Katrina Russ. I think the line, never seen a million but I seen a body, is an awesome refrain and even a great catchphrase. And I think that Dave East raps his heart out on this song and really leaves the EP on an impressive note. Along with the song Maneuver, this really is the standout track for me. And I love that it comes at the end of the project because it leaves a good taste in my mouth. So my overall feelings on this thing are pretty mixed. I think that the songs in general are underwhelming and there's not a lot I'm dying to come back to there. But the dude can definitely rap. I enjoy his MCing. And when you look through the track list, you can definitely see potential for a really great debut studio album, which we can only assume is on its way. I'm rooting for the guy. He does need to come with stronger hooks, probably some more unique subject matter, and I think carefully place his features. But he's a great rapper, he's got a solid ear for beats, and again, I think an awesome debut studio album from Dave East is not at all out of the realm of possibility. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Paranoia, True Story gets a 6 out of 10 from me. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or shoot me a message so we can continue to talk music, and I'll see you guys soon.